time is now 20:11 p.m. Wednesday the 14th of the 6th 2017, and now we're going to look at the Switzerland cams, because again we're seeing some very interesting images on the Switzerland cams, and all over the world different images. So again, I'm hoping you're having a nice week, and respect to all you that's viewing the channel, because we just want the truth, don't we? We just want to see those skies and see those objects that are being hidden all the time by HARP and that powerful machine CERN as well, that they're using all the time, that's causing problems to ourselves as well. So I'm going to now show you some of the Switzerland cams. Okay, you're going to have to bear with me on this, on the Switzerland cams, because it's so far away from the UK and they do stop and start. But this is a photo image because I tried to run the cam, the live stream cam, but it kept stopping and there was adverts that were being thrown in front of it, so I didn't want to block any imagery. So you can see here on the screen, you can see to the left hand side that white reflection, okay, from another heavenly body. There's other objects that are behind those cams. If you look down to the right hand side, you can just see above that orange reflection, okay, that heavenly body, that other reflection that's there. There's two reflections, two colourings in the sky. And again, in Switzerland, you can see the trees and the land. They've lost their leaves and they just don't look healthy, do they? Because we've got that radiation that's coming through. All this is happening absolutely 100% right now. So I'm going to show you another image on the Swiss cams. It would be great if it was more in high definition, but because it's so far away. But again, it's good to be able to catch some images from other parts of the world, just to show you the truth that their skies are showing different light sources, different reflections from heavenly objects that are out there. So again, let's go and try another cam. Okay, now this is another Swiss cam pointing northeast, and as I said before, these are quite difficult cams to get right because they distort, they stop and start, and again, Switzerland is a very far place from here in the northern hemisphere, so the signal to get these cams moving is quite difficult. And also with the adverts, if any adverts pop up on the screen, I apologise for this, but it's just, I want to show you this evidence, okay? Look on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that pink-red reflection, and to the left side you've got that blue reflection. Now these heavenly objects, okay, are reflecting in Switzerland. They're reflecting all over the world now. Now I'm going to play this cam for you, and again, if it stops, I apologise for this, but let's just view the cam. You can see those chemtrails. The cam is moving now. You can see that haze, that pink reflection. Okay, we've got another webcam here in Switzerland, and this is the Bad Ragaz in Pazol cam, St. Gallen. And also to the right hand side you can see that, can't you, that red reflection just here. Now this reflection is going down. It's nothing to do with the sun, it's on the opposite side, and it's a red reflection from the binary twin. Now we've got the companion star with our soul, the sun. It's here, and also look at the timestamp, it's 9:20 p.m. and it's supposed to be dark, but you've got this red reflection. Okay, so let's go and look at a different cam here as well now. Okay, let me try and play this cam for you. This timestamp is 9:12. You can see this now, can't you? Look at that red haze. I apologise if the cams do stop because it's a long way away, but you can see the red haze and the yellowness of the sun as the sun's going down. And again, the land, a lot of them trees are not grown properly. So let's hope this cam just moves upwards and we can see basically that there's a lot of things happening around our world now, and also humanity. Again, I sent that video out last night. I just want people to wake up to the real situations that are going on around the world. I'm going to flick to a different cam for a second, hold on. This cam here is called a Wang's Gafia cam. And again, this is another part of Switzerland, and you can see those red reflections on the horizon, and you can see those chemtrails and that haze in the sky, and also down on the land. I mean, it's too dark. I mean, we're seeing the same skies all over the world, aren't we? So yeah, it's just interesting to see different cams and look at the different images, because we're seeing the same skies all across the world. We're seeing everything is the same. So let me switch to a different cam. This also is the Wangs Bizol Hutti cam in Switzerland, and you can see this clearly, can't you? This again, this red sky, can't you, from NIBIRU? This red reflection is pouring in, and you can see again the reflections on the mountains, the redness on the reflection. So let's also go through the archive and see what we can find on this. Okay, here's the different images, okay, through the day. Let me just sort this out for you, hold on a second. Okay, the timestamp there is 9:20 PM, and there is a red reflection. You can see this, can't you, on the left hand side. So NIBIRU is behind, out there in the inner solar system, but those clouds are hiding the reflection. So the reflection is very strong out there in Switzerland. See, if we was able to get to those mountains and we were all stood there looking out, we would see more clearly, wouldn't we, of those heavenly bodies. But look how they chemtrail the skies over there as well. The military in Switzerland are covering their skies all across those areas. As here in the UK, they're spraying all the time. And where you are, other parts of the world, USA, Australia, everywhere, is being chemtrailed. We're being poisoned. And the government still say that chemtrails are contrails, and it's, I mean, it's so frustrating, because we know that these are pure toxins that are up there in the skies to hide those objects, those heavenly bodies. They're here now. Anyway, I'm going to go to another image for you. Here's another one, okay, at 9:14 PM. You can see this, can't you, this red reflection again. Now the sun would have gone down, okay. Now there's a reflection there, isn't there? You can see this. It's very evident now that we're getting these red reflections in our skies, and it would be much more powerful, but they put all these toxins up there to cover it, the whole situation. Now I apologise that before the first piece of footage there, that the screen went a bit crazy, but the thing is now we just want these images out there to the world now, don't we? So I'm going to show you the next image. Okay, I'm rewinding the footage to show you from the end to the beginning here on these Swiss cams. It's just the way they are. Okay, here you can see one here at 8:40 PM. Now they're definitely hiding something up here, aren't they? They're hiding an object, a heavenly body, the reflection. Now again, NIBIRU and Hellion and other celestial body objects, they are reflecting, okay, through the skies. We see those red reflections. Now I can't say when they will arrive, okay, close to our Earth, because I believe that they will still take time before these heavenly bodies come close to our Earth. But I can assure you we're seeing these huge reflections right now. So I'm just going to keep going right to the very end, as I've said before, till we really catch these red skies very, very strong, because we will get red skies. The blue skies will go, and we're going to get some serious red skies. And I am waiting for news media, NASA, to announce it, to say that it's pollution, that it's us that are causing this. They will come out with some excuse all the time to the mass of the public. They will hide the truth to the very end. Let me try another image. Okay, this is another piece of footage called the Station Paradelle, and this is 1,621 meters above sea level. Now I'm going to flip through the hours through the evening to see if we catch anything on the skies there. So the timestamp there on a live cam is 9:26 PM, and yeah, let's go and have a look at the archive with this. See what we can find. Okay, let's have a look at this. Okay, the station cam in Switzerland starts at 8:40 p.m. okay, for the live cam, and I believe that this here to be a fly or a mark on the screen. I don't believe this to be anything out there, but there is an object that's illuminating, I mean behind those thick chems, where I believe that HARP use these, okay, to cover the screens and skies. And HARP is a dangerous tool because other countries around the world have got their own HARP, and they cause a lot of floodings and things to other parts of the world. And I mean, there's a war going on with these there. I mean, Russia have got it. I mean, the USA have got HARP. I mean, they are playing war games up there, aren't they? I mean, they can cause a lot of problems to many parts of the world. And again, I mean, we can only be persistent, can't we, with these cams, okay? Some days we're not going to catch anything, are we? Other things we see on the screen are going to be blatantly lens flare, aren't they? So again, could get things right, could get things wrong, because I just want to know the truth, just like all of you others as well. But hey, we're going to catch something, aren't we? Because we all believe and we all know that NIBIRU is a real celestial body, okay? And we all know that this event is going to be in our lifetime. So let's flick through another image on this cam. If we don't find anything, that's fair play, isn't it? We can go on try and just keep trying and trying until we get the right image. Okay, I've just flicked back to this other cam. Now the sun is on the opposite side. You can see the reflection of the sun on this mountain top here, can't you? And on the opposite side there's a white reflection through those cams. Okay, look at the lower clouds doing nothing anymore to protect anything anymore. Now I've looked at this cam quite a few months back and the grass was a lot greener. I mean, look at it, it's unhealthy now, isn't it? I mean, this blue light source, okay, on the opposite side, it's showing again on the Swiss cams. I mean, look at these HARP controlled cloudings. I mean, look at this, all the trash in the sky now. So let's try another cam for you. This is another live cam, okay, in Switzerland, called the Kraft Bezel cam. And I said this before, didn't I, that we will see these red skies all across the world. I mean, look how pink it is. Look how pink it is on the buildings. Look how pink the skies are. Now the NASA cams are NASA is turning their cams off all the time. When this huge amount of radiation comes down towards our celestial body, the Earth, this is what happens. Let me turn the cam on again. Okay, it's switched on again. As I said, that I apologise that the cams turn off and on, but this is how it is. But look how dark and pink it is. I mean, this reflection is from NIBIRU, and also with this radiation that's coming through, it's because NIBIRU is affecting everything right now in our solar system. It's affecting our Earth as well, all the time. I'm going to go through the archive on this and see what we can pick up. First of all, this is a 360 degrees cam, okay, and now it's facing north, but I want to show you this pink reflection again, okay, it's important. Now we're going to get all this in our skies shortly. I can see this coming. We're going to get up one morning and we're going to notice that the skies are too pink, okay, and humanity still will think that everything is okay. News media will turn around and say, don't worry about it, it's just us, okay, it's climate change, it's basically that we're causing this climate change and we need to sort ourselves out and not to basically use too much exhaust fumes, and they will blame us for this, okay, but we now know that this is a huge reflection from NIBIRU, and also NIBIRU is causing a lot more radiation. I mean, look at the skies, look at the pinkness of the skies here on this live cam. I mean, I'm stuck for words here, and I apologise because I know that this is a live cam, and I know that these pink reflections are from NIBIRU. I mean, it gets worse. As you see the cam, you can see them pink reflections. Okay, now these are reflections that are coming in. We see huge reflections on the Alaska cams as well, a celestial body reflection, and I mean, it just gets worse. Okay, now this is not from our sun, this is from NIBIRU. Now the thing is though, okay, the government, NASA, the powers to be will say this is our fault, and they will come out with some lie to turn around and say, or some false flag event to say that we need to stop littering the world, and also stop using gases, aerosols, because this is what's causing the problem. Now we have to read in between the lines of this situation. We need to think out the box as well, because when you do come out of the box and think out of the box, you'll notice the box has been so small, and you'll notice that you've been stuck in this world that's been run by this government, the powers to be, and you'll wake up to this. And many of you are now awake to this, knowing that our skies have changed, knowing that this heavenly body is on its way now, seeing that people are being affected by this, and those chemtrails are trying their hardest to hide those heavenly bodies. So I urge you, please look out to the skies in the evening and the sunrise. You will see these red reflections. But in the years to come, I believe 100%, up to 2017, 2018, 2019, we're going to see redder skies. Red skies, not blue skies anymore. So I'm going to switch to another cam for you. Okay, this is another Swiss cam. Okay, read her up cam, and it's 1,950 meters above sea level. Let's play this cam, because I've noticed something on the screen. Okay, on this cam as well, to the right hand side. Now you can see that blue reflection there, can't you, in the middle of the screen above those mountains. Okay, and they're spraying the skies all the time there again in this area, and the trees, the plant life just don't look very healthy anymore, do they? I mean, look at the strange cloudings moving across the sky, and here we go again, the pink reflections up there. And to the right hand side of the cam at the end, you will see this line, this red reflection, I believe to be NIBIRU again. But again, you can see on the land it just doesn't look healthy anymore, and this is what it's like every single place. The health of the plant life and everything is just completely different now, isn't it? It really is. Let's go to the archives with this now, because this cam keeps stopping. I apologise about this. Keeps stopping and starting. Okay, this is another cam I'll play to you in a second, and it's called the Fetch Eggishorn cam in Switzerland. Very high altitudes. Okay, this is 2,869 meters above sea level, and you'll see some strange things going across the screen. Okay, these round objects. This is not lens flare or anything like that. They're going through the sky. Let me just show you this. Okay, now I mean, look at that. That's very strange, isn't it? Can you see that? And also, I mean, it's not stuck on the screen, is it? It's something that's out there. Can you see these moving objects? Very, very strange. I'm going to show you this again. Hold on a second, please. Okay, I'm going to play the cam again, okay? Now you can see the screens very, very clear, can't you? Now these are high definition cameras. Okay, now let's play the cam once more, and I apologise if it stops, because it's just a long way away, isn't it, from where we are. Can you see this? What is this on the screen? It's very, very strange, isn't it? Again, something else down here as well. Okay, one here as well. Could be anything, couldn't it? But it just looked very strange there, didn't it? I mean, I'm going to go to a different cam. Okay, this is quite big on the screen, this one is. Now, this is one of the other Swiss cams on a very high mountain, okay, that's very high above sea level at 2,500 feet. I mean, look at this. I mean, you can see a red reflection there, can't you? It's very clear, isn't it? There's something that's reflecting red. I mean, you can see the red brightness on the mountains as well, the reflection. Okay, you can see this very clearly now, can't you? Timestamp there is 7:02 p.m. So yeah, just got to keep going, haven't we? We just got to keep going and keep monitoring those cams. All we can do is just search all the cams around the world. That's all we can do to get that true evidence that things are changing. Now I've noticed on this cam as well, okay, the Bromwood cam, and this is 1,509 meters above sea level. Okay, so there's a light source here, isn't there? A blue light source. Can you see this? On the opposite side of where the sun is. Time there is 9:18 p.m. Okay, let's just play through the cam. You can see that blue light source, can't you? I mean, look at the, I mean, it's very dark as well, isn't it? Okay, now, again, we just got to be persistent because you're seeing another light source there as well. And look at the clouds, they're very red, aren't they? Because NIBIRU is reflecting, and that blue light source up there I believe to be the blue Kachina. I mean, you're seeing the red light source as well. There's two light objects up there on this cam. Can you see the red reflection to the right hand side? And then you'll see the strong blue light source. And those clouds are reflecting NIBIRU again. I mean, it would be good, wouldn't it, if the cam was high up on that mountain there, but we just got to keep going, haven't we? Let's check the archive and see what we can find on the archive, because there's lots of different images here, okay, of those lower clouds. I mean, the whole system up there is twisted now, isn't it? And we're seeing red skies up there as well. I mean, that's so evident, isn't it, this blue reflection up there. I mean, this red haze, okay? Because we've got those objects up there. Let's zoom into this image because it looks very interesting. See, on this image, it may not look much, but to me it's heavily chemtrailed, and there's a red object behind that. And timestamp 8:18 p.m. It shouldn't be like this, okay, in Switzerland or any other part of the world. It should not be like this now, fully chemtrailed and their military spraying those skies. We should now have the right to know and see NIBIRU. We should have the right to see those reflections coming in. It's a life-changing event. It really is. I'm going to go and have a look at another cam now, okay? But I mean, the blue reflection there is very, very interesting. So, yeah, it's just very interesting to keep an eye on these cams, and I'll be looking at these a lot more now for you. Okay, let's go to another cam, as I said. Okay, it's dark on this cam, okay, this live cam, and it's called the Genève cam, okay, in Geneva, now in Switzerland. I'm going to go through the archive with this and see what we can find, okay, because it's far too dark on this cam. Let's check the archive and see what we can find. Okay, flip through here and see what their skies were showing. Okay, this one looks interesting, so we're going to flip through this part now. Okay, I knew this would be like this because we're seeing these natural clouds being pushed down, this red reflection from these heavenly objects, okay, and above is being sprayed all the time. So we're looking at all these skies being exactly the same. Timestamp is 8:57 p.m. Every single sky, every single part of the world is being affected just the same way. Look on the sea level, this pink reflection again. So Geneva, the area, Genève, is being affected by this as well. Okay.
Hey, what's up guys? Tyler here with Secure Team. Well, what a way to start the new year. NASA, otherwise known as Never a Straight Answer, has now given us a new warning that there are, quote, 2 celestial objects approaching Earth and are currently zooming through our solar system. Apparently, these 2 objects are either asteroids or comets, but they don't seem to be sure which. So news reports are just hitting the web here, and according to these reports, these 2 massive space rocks, as they're calling them, are not only heading for our planet, or at least near our planet, in the path of our planet, we'll say, but they're so large that there's a good chance you'll be able to see them entering Earth's orbit. The space agency's comet hunting NEOWISE mission spotted a comet incoming this week and another that is set to enter Earth's orbit in February. The latter object, dubbed 2016 WF9, was detected by NASA in late November and has left scientists scratching their heads. Now get this, they have described the celestial object as a cross between an asteroid and a comet. Now, I'm not quite sure where they're getting that. I mean, it's either one or the other, unless it's some sort of strange hybrid comet asteroid that we've never seen before. It's just kind of strange to me that they aren't identifying what it is, well, what these two objects are. And by the way, we've had a lot of strange instances in terms of comets and asteroids that have been captured in space in the past, where the circumstances were so strange, in fact, that you have to question whether they were actually asteroids or comets at all. But we'll get to that here in just a second. Now, according to NASA, there is no current fear that the rock or rocks will collide with Earth, but it will provide an incredible spectacle as it soars over our planet. NASA hopes that by seeing this thing, it will give them a chance to figure out what it exactly is. Now again, this is kind of strange to me because often NASA is very precise, very detailed, and when they track these objects that are heading toward Earth, or objects that are at least close enough that they can track them, you usually get a press release in which they tell you, I mean, at the very least, whether it's an asteroid or a comet, but most of the time they give you the size, the weight, the chemical composition, the trajectory, and we're not getting any of that here. So, I mean, it's just strange to me. I'm not saying that it's anything else, but basically what we know here is that comets, which if you guys don't know, are made of frozen gas, rock, and dust. And they release this gas as they fly close to the sun, which in turn starts to melt the comet, releasing this beautiful tail or trail of debris as it heats up. Now, this object, 2016 WF9, resembles a comet in its reflectivity and orbit. However, what it does not contain, and what has not been seen, is the characteristic dust and gas cloud, or tail, which is the key component to that of a comet. That's how we tell what comets are. This object doesn't have that. And that's also strange. According to the other reports we have, this second object, which was discovered by NEOWISE a month earlier, is apparently more clearly defined as a comet, and has been seen to be releasing dust as it nears our sun, where it will soon come close to Earth before heading back out into outer space on an orbit that will last over 1,000 years. Paul Kotis, who is the manager of NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, said that these objects have a good chance of becoming visible through a good pair of binoculars, although we can't be sure because a comet's brightness is notoriously unpredictable. NASA further said that this discovery could mean a change in how we identify rocks in space. So, basically, from everything we've heard from NASA, never a straight answer, of course, we're pretty much as much in the dark at the end of everything we've spoken about today as we were at the beginning of the video. We really know nothing, and according to NASA, they don't know really what these objects are. They're saying that they're likely this or likely that. One of them seems to be a mix between a comet and an asteroid. One of them is displaying properties and characteristics of a comet, but is not displaying one of the most key components of a comet, which is the debris field or tail. And, I mean, I don't know. Is that strange to you guys? I'd love to hear your opinions on it. Again, this is just breaking, so just a pause here. As I said earlier, we've had many more strange occurrences where we have seen things in the sky that NASA had identified as either asteroids or comets, but to those of us in the public and on the outside, many of these objects that are out there in space at this minute as we speak also contained a very strange set of characteristics, and the evidence pointed away from them being natural and into the realm of possibly artificial. So what are some of these examples? Well, there's a few that I'll go ahead and talk about today. Many of you may have heard about this. For those of you who haven't, there was a specific comet called Comet Ison. That's I-S-O-N. And this quote-unquote comet was very strange. And to this day, many people do not believe that it was a comet at all. So Comet Ison, formerly known as C-2012, was a supposed sun-grazing comet discovered on September 21st, 2012. And if you remember, or followed sort of the alternative news media at that time, there was a lot of fear-mongering back in 2012. I'm sure many of you remember that this was supposed to be the end of the world. The Mayans predicted it. NIBIRU was going to come into contact, all of these different theories. Of course, none of it happened. But at that time, Comet Ison and the high strangeness that surrounded it was kind of lumped into that whole doomsday scenario. But it had nothing to do with it, and on its own, Comet Ison was strange enough that you didn't need any of that other nonsense. So what we know is that this comet supposedly had come from the Oort cloud region of our solar system. It was heading near our sun, and it was dubbed, or it was supposed to be, the Comet of the Century. And remember, a comet is, at the very core, a bright ball of frozen matter, mostly ice. And when this comet was approaching the sun and was expected to actually pierce the sun's corona on November 28th, 2012, scientists all over the world were expecting this big, beautiful show. That this would be the comet of the century, the brightest thing in our sky that we had ever seen, and then the comet just disappeared. Now, of course, NASA came out later and said, well, the evidence shows that the comet likely broke up before it reached the sun. But when researchers started to look at Hubble images, they noticed something very strange, particularly that of the shape of this object. Here you're seeing, on the left, an unedited view of this supposed comet, the raw image. We just see this bright glowing ball of light, nothing there. However, when the image was enhanced to show what was underneath this bright glowing ball, this here on the right is what we found. Now, without going any further, I ask you, since when do comets take on the form of three separate objects moving in a perfect triangular V-shaped formation? And the answer is, they don't. Here we're showing you some other images, different views of this V-shaped object, glowing as it moved through space. Now, NASA, being the slippery organization that they are, well, they later, after this was exposed, came out and said, well, this is just an imaging artifact. To which researchers quickly replied that if this were an artifact, why are the rest of the stars in the image not showing the same artifact? If this is some sort of double or triple exposure, then we would see the same artifact in all of the stars surrounding the object, but we don't. And honestly, it was a poor attempt by NASA to cover their tracks and explain this object, which was quite clearly not a comet. And because it was not a comet, it perfectly explained the reason why astronomers and the big heads at NASA didn't get their show of the century, when they didn't get this bright glowing flash that would have been able to have been seen by millions of people on Earth once it started to melt as it flew into the sun. Because it didn't fly into the sun, because it wasn't a comet. We have yet another image where in certain instances we see other UFOs, unidentified objects that are flying with Comet Ison, as you're seeing in this image here, where you can see this object being escorted by another unknown body, which again, like the comet, would have to be miles in length. To this day, Comet Ison remains a mystery, in the face and despite all of NASA's attempts to peg it as just another ordinary space object, nothing to look at, and not worth your time. and that anyone who says different, well, you're just a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Kind of like in the same way you were pegged a deplorable if you voted for Trump. So, Comet Ison, very interesting. Another very strange object that was seen, and again, to this day, unexplained, was that of this object that you're seeing here, which was a massive, mysterious spaceship-looking object that was detected by the Hubble telescope back in 2010 that was traveling over 11,000 miles through space. It was famously dubbed the X-shaped asteroid, officially known as P-2010-A2. Again, NASA wasn't sure whether this object was a comet, an asteroid, or something else. But what couldn't be ignored about this object was the very strange shape found at the end of this long, million-mile-long tail. This glowing tail here grew over the months that it was observed to over 1 million miles long. And what we saw leading the tail was a strange X shape. And not only that, what was also seen were what appeared to be unidentified objects that were traveling near the X, again, escorting this thing as it blasted through space. And you can see one of those objects here. NASA had no idea what it was. All they could do was speculate. But according to one NASA scientist, who off the cuff stated, and I quote, "We have no clue about what this is, and we're all still speculating about how this object was formed." The phenomenon, the object, was left unexplained. The public left in the dark, and NASA, of course, once again, not sure, quote unquote, what the object was. But it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. So, back to the topic here. Objects with reflective bodies, so the reflecting light, seen heading towards Earth, but that are acting like two different types of space rocks. So, with that, let me know what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, be sure to head over to the main channel and click on the little notification bell next to the subscribe button. Otherwise, you will not get notifications when we post a new video. So be sure to stick around. I've got a lot of stuff on the way, new footage, strange happenings. You guys know the deal. We'll have a new video up very soon, and I feel like 2017 is really going to be a special year for this research, and we may just finally break through one of truth's protective layers and reveal, without any shred of a doubt, the existence of the alien phenomenon and the ongoing cover-up that has followed it for 50 plus years. So thanks for watching, share and like on your way out, I really appreciate it, and stay safe.
Just here. Now this reflection is going down. It's nothing to do with the sun, it's on the opposite side, and it's a red reflection from the binary twin. Now we've got the companion star with our soul, the sun. It's here, and also look at the timestamp, it's 9:20 p.m. and it's supposed to be dark, but you've got this red reflection. Okay, so that's going to look at a different cam here as well now. Okay, let me try and play this cam for you. This timestamp is 9:12. You can see this now, can't you? Look at that red haze. I apologize if the cams do stop because it's a long way away, but you can see the red haze and the yellowness of the sun as the sun's going down. And again, the land, a lot of them trees are not growing proper reflection, and to the left side you've got that blue reflection. Now these heavenly objects, okay, are reflecting in Switzerland. They're reflecting all over the world now. Now I'm going to play this cam for you, and again, if it stops, I apologize for this, but let's just view the cam. You can see those chemtrails. The cam is moving now. You can see that haze, that pink reflection. Okay, we've got another webcam here in Switzerland, and this is the Bad Ragaz in Pazolcam, St. Gallen. And also to the right hand side you can see that, can't you, that red reflection if it was more in high definition, but because it's so far away. But again, it's good to be able to catch some images from other parts of the world, just to show you the truth that their skies are showing different light sources, different reflections from heavenly objects that are out there. So again, let's go and try another cam. Okay, now this is another Swiss cam pointing northeast, and as I said before, these are quite difficult cams to get right because they distort, they stop and start, and again, Switzerland is a very far place from here in the northern hemisphere, so the signal to get these cams moving is quite difficult. And also with the adverts, if any adverts pop up on the screen, I apologise for this, but it's just, I want to show you this evidence. Okay, look on the right hand side of the screen, you can see that pink red. Time is now 20:11 p.m. Wednesday the 14th of the 6th 2017, and now we're going to look at the Switzerland cams, because again we're seeing some very interesting images on the Switzerland cams, and all over the world different images. So again, I'm hoping you're having a nice week, and respect to all you that's viewing the channel, because we just want the truth, don't we? We just want to see those skies and see those objects that are being hidden all the time by HARP and that powerful machine CERN as well that they're using all the time, that's causing problems to ourselves as well. So I'm going to now show you some of the Switzerland cams. Okay, you're going to have to bear with me on this, on the Switzerland cams, because it's so far away from the UK and they do stop and start. But this is a photo image because I tried to run the cam, the live stream cam, but it kept stopping and there was adverts that were being thrown in front of it, so I didn't want to block any imagery. So you can see here on the screen, you can see to the left hand side that white reflection, okay, from another heavenly body. There's other objects that are behind those chems. If you look down to the right hand side, you can just see above that orange reflection, okay, that heavenly body, that other reflection that's there. There's two reflections, two colourings in the sky, and again in Switzerland you can see the trees and the land, they've lost their leaves and they just don't look healthy, do they? Because we've got that radiation that's coming through. All this is happening absolutely 100% right now. So I'm going to show you another image on the Swiss cams. It would be great